He was sitting behind a desk one day in his office when a guy who was bored came in and shot him.
After 51 years reveals a truth colder than any crime on screen. The glamour faded, leaving only life sentences of tragedy. Death didn't miss a single name. Sudden heart failure taking down icons at their absolute peak. Devastating illness and quiet deaths forgotten by a cold-blooded Hollywood. Who do you think suffered the most bitter end? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Abe Vigoda was born on February 24, 1921, in New York. He was 54 when he took on the role of Sergeant Philip K. Fish, the weary yet deeply compassionate veteran cop in Barney Miller in 1975. Fish became an iconic figure, but behind that tough exterior was a man bearing far too many emotional wounds. His first wife left him after years of relentless poverty that shadowed his early life. His second marriage concluded in even deeper heartache when his wife passed away following a prolonged illness, leaving him solitary at age 71 in a silent, empty house. These heavy losses dimmed his later career, draining the energy he once brought to the screen. Severe arthritis turned every step into a painful ordeal, restricting him to just a few minor roles. Even worse, beginning in 1982, he fell victim to the persistent false rumor claiming Abe Vigoda is dead, which morphed into a running joke throughout Hollywood for decades. He later confessed how deeply traumatic it felt to be turned into a public punchline. That emotional strain drove him deeper into seclusion, spending his remaining years in quiet isolation. Abe Vigoda passed away peacefully in his sleep on January 26, 2016, at age 94, at his daughter's residence in Woodland Park, New Jersey, during a heavy winter snowstorm. His net worth was estimated at just around $1 million, a modest figure, yet fitting for a man who offered so much more to the world than he ever got back. Max Gale was born on April 5, 1943, in Detroit, Michigan. At age 32, he took on the role of Detective Stan Wojciechowicz, the good-hearted, deeply compassionate Polish-American cop who appeared in 170 episodes of Barney Miller, beginning in 1975. Wojo brought a down-to-earth warmth to the show, but behind that innocent charm was a man whose real life was marked by emotional wounds. Max Gale's first marriage fell apart early on. He and his first wife, Willie Beer, had 3 children, but soon found themselves drowning in conflict, exhaustion, and unresolved resentment. The breakup left him so hollow that he slid into alcohol and cocaine abuse in the late 70s, right as Barney Miller was becoming a hit. Willie Beer later died of cancer in 1985, pushing Max into the darkest depression of his life, a wound that never fully healed. The 1980s and 90s were a long struggle. His spin-off failed, and small roles couldn't salvage a collapsing career. His second and third marriages were filled with tension, separations, and emotional distance. His health also began to betray him. After getting sober in 1991, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, forcing him to restructure his life, as simple movement became painful. His role as Mike Corbin on General Hospital earned him 2 daytime Emmys as a late career triumph. He lives quietly in California, taking low-pressure roles. His net worth is estimated at around $3 million. Hal Linden was born on March 20th, 1931, in the Bronx, New York. He was 44 when he became Captain Barney Miller, the gentle, steady hand who kept the 12th Precinct together amid the chaos of New York City in Barney Miller in 1975. The role made him a star, but placed immense pressure on him. A series that ran for 8 seasons meant 12 to 14-hour shooting days, slowly draining him physically and emotionally. His marriage to Frances Martin was worn down by this exhausting schedule. Their 4 children grew up with him mostly absent, while Frances carried the weight of the household alone. By the 1980s, arthritis, heart strain, and unexplained pains forced him to reduce his workload. When Frances died in 2010 from heart disease, The loss shattered him. Their later life together, and his subsequent marriage to Karen Wright, carried a tender but fragile tone. Even so, he continued his artistic path, appearing in small roles, performing jazz, and holding on to his career. Hal Linden is still alive with declining health, involved in the arts within his limits. His net worth is estimated at around $10 million, the sum of nearly 70 years of work. Steve Landesberg was born on November 23, 1936, in New York. He was 39 when he stepped into the role of Sergeant Arthur P. Dietrich, the calm, cerebral detective with encyclopedic knowledge and razor-sharp dry humor who became the quiet soul of the 12th Precinct. Across 123 episodes, Dietrich provided a steady, intellectual presence. Yet behind the scenes, Steve was a man plagued by deep insecurities and isolation. His marriage to Nancy Ross unraveled while Barney Miller was still on the air, fractured by heavy work pressure and severe social anxiety that made him increasingly distant at home. The breakdown of his marriage inflicted lasting psychological wounds. He developed such an intense fear of emotional commitment that he never pursued another serious relationship again. His anxiety became so overwhelming that he once fled a stand-up performance just minutes before showtime due to a sudden panic attack, losing valuable contracts and harming his reputation in the comedy world. Following Barney Miller, his career lost momentum. Guest parts on The Simpsons or For Richer or Poorer kept him somewhat visible, but ongoing depression steadily pushed him to the margins of Hollywood. When diagnosed with colon cancer in 2010, he chose complete secrecy, turning down chemotherapy to prevent anyone from witnessing his physical deterioration. Steve Landesberg passed away on December 20, 2010, at age 74, in quiet solitude. He left behind an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, a modest figure for an actor who had earned 3 Emmy nominations. Barbara Barry was born on May 23, 1931, in Chicago. She was 44 when she joined Barney Miller in 1975 as Elizabeth Liz Miller, the patient, steady wife of Barney, appearing in 37 episodes and offering a subtle emotional counterbalance. Liz became the quiet heart of the series, but behind her composed presence was a personal life far more turbulent. Barbara married director Jay Harnick in 1964 and had 2 children, but her demanding schedule constantly pulled the family thin. In the 1970s, she struggled to balance motherhood and career, leading to years of exhaustion at home. After her Cannes-winning performance in One Potato, Two Potato, 1964, and her Oscar-nominated role in Breaking Away, 1979, Barbara began to realize her body was failing her. In 1994, she underwent treatment for colorectal cancer and later lived with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. She turned to writing children's books about illness to heal herself. Barbara Barry is still living in New York with extraordinary resilience despite declining health, occasionally appearing in off-Broadway shows. Her net worth is about $8 million. Jack Sue was born on October 28, 1917, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was 58 when he became Sergeant Nick Yamada, the calm, witty Japanese-American officer known for brewing the worst coffee on television on Barney Miller in 1975. Across 89 episodes, his character became the peaceful anchor of a chaotic precinct. But Jack's real life was a story marked by survival and deep scars. His marriage to Susan O. Shaw lasted nearly 3 decades, but beneath the surface was the ongoing struggle of a Japanese-American family, still bearing the wounds of World War II and years of discrimination. As a young man, Jack had been incarcerated at the Topaz internment camp, enduring hunger, humiliation, and cold, memories that stayed with him for the rest of his life. Just as Barney Miller finally gave him the late career recognition he deserved, Jack's body began to fail him. During season 4, he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. Even as chemotherapy drained his strength, he returned for 9 episodes in season 5 because he didn't want to disappoint the fans. Jack Sue passed away on January 11, 1979, at age 61, at UCLA Medical Center, the first cast member of Barney Miller to die. The Season 5 tribute episode became one of the most emotional moments in sitcom history, the entire cast lifting cups of coffee as they remembered him. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills. His net worth at the time was only about $500,000. John Dullican was born on November 27, 1930, in Brooklyn, New York. He was 45 when he joined Barney Miller in 1975 as Ray Brewer, the gruff informant who appeared in only 5 episodes, but added a gritty, street-level realism to the series. Behind the stern on-screen persona was a private life marked by quiet fractures. John married Anne Bright Peters and later Michelle Bordier, but both marriages unraveled under the weight of relentless stage schedules, constant travel, and the insecurities that haunt a career built almost entirely on supporting roles. The result was years of profound solitude. That emotional strain pushed him into periods of despair, especially when his roles on Hill Street Blues and Battlestar Galactica failed to elevate him beyond the bit part actor label. His greatest struggle, however, was his health. Decades of smoking to cope with long nights in theater and on set left his lungs severely damaged. His lung cancer diagnosis came late, and he hid it the same way he hid many of his disappointments, quietly, while trying to keep working. By the time he appeared in California and Apollo 13, colleagues noticed his slower steps and labored breathing. John Dullican died on January 18, 2009, in Calabasas at age 78 from lung cancer. His net worth, about $1 million, came mostly from more than 60 plays and numerous television guest roles. It was not a glamorous life, but an honest one. James Gregory was born on December 23, 1911, in New York. He was 64 when he portrayed Inspector Frank Luger, the aging, nostalgic veteran whose old-school charm brought laughter to Barney Miller viewers starting in 1975. Over 63 episodes, Luger became the embodiment of the old guard. But in real life, Gregory was quietly wrestling with the isolations of old age. His nearly 60-year marriage to Ann Miltoner was the foundation of his life. But after she passed away, his home became unbearably silent. With no children and no close family nearby, he became a lonely figure in his final years. His career was steady, but never explosive. After roles in The Manchurian Candidate and Beneath the Planet of the Apes, he gradually shifted to supporting parts and faded from the screen after Barney Miller. In the final phase of his life, he suffered from mild heart failure and deteriorating eyesight. James Gregory died on September 16, 2002 in Sedona, Arizona, at age 90. He was buried beside his wife. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $4 million. Ron Glass was born on July 10, 1945, in Evansville, Indiana. He was 30 when he became Detective Ron Harris, the stylish, literature-loving, sharp-witted detective with a polished charm who helped define Barney Miller, starting in 1975. Harris became the intellectual anchor of the series, but that calm sophistication stood in stark contrast to the shadows that followed Ron Glass in real life. Marriage was his greatest silent pain. As a gay man in an era when Hollywood was deeply prejudiced, he was forced to hide the long-term relationship that meant the most to him, living in fear of being blacklisted or losing roles if his truth ever came out. A lifetime of secrecy left him lonely and wary of the media. After Barney Miller, he faced another heartbreak when Firefly was canceled abruptly, an event that sent him into a depression, as if the last dream he had held onto was suddenly ripped away. His health declined early. He had suffered from asthma since childhood, battling sudden attacks for decades. By the time he reached 60, the condition worsened, making every recording session, voiceover job, and public appearance a physical struggle. Still, he kept working, voicing characters in Rugrats, all grown up and appearing in Serenity, 2005. Ron Glass passed away on November 25, 2016, at age 71 due to respiratory failure. He was laid to rest at Rose Hills Memorial Park in Whittier, California. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $2 million. Linda Lavin was born on October 15, 1937, in Portland, Maine. She was 38 when she joined Barney Miller in 1975, playing Detective Janice Wentworth, the sharp, tough, yet deeply compassionate female officer who appeared in about 15 episodes across the first 2 seasons. Janice was a refreshing presence in a precinct full of men, both strong and vulnerable, paving the way for depictions of female police officers on television at the time. Though her role was brief, it unexpectedly launched Linda's career into the spotlight. But behind that success was a private life, far more chaotic than any episode she ever filmed. Linda went through 2 painful divorces, first with Ron Leibman, then with Kip Niven, whose bitter split left lasting emotional scars. Years spent shuttling between Broadway and Hollywood pushed her marriage into cycles of distance, arguments, and long-lasting loneliness. At the height of Alice, Linda found herself smiling on camera but crying backstage. Life grew heavier still when her health failed her just as her fame resurfaced. In 2019, Linda was diagnosed with lung cancer, a blow that devastated her physically and emotionally. Though she eventually recovered, the months of chemotherapy left her voice raspier, her breathing uneven, and forced her to step away from the stage that had defined her entire life. Her brilliant career suddenly felt fragile. Linda Lavin is still alive at age 88, continuing to work gently on small projects in New York, taking only roles she can comfortably handle. Her estimated net worth is around $6 million. She remains a symbol of endurance. Ron Carey was born on December 11, 1935, in Newark, New Jersey. He was 36 when he became Officer Carl Levitt, the eager, diminutive officer desperate for a promotion to detective, appearing in 61 episodes of Barney Miller, starting in 1976. Levitt provided brilliant comic relief, but behind his energetic performance was a man constantly confronting physical limits. His height made him a target for constant industry typecasting that severely restricted his acting career. Ron married Sharon Thomas in 1967, and their marriage remained strong. However, the childless couple often found themselves navigating quiet periods of isolation as his acting work dried up. Despite memorable appearances in Mel Brooks comedies, major roles remained elusive after Barney Miller ended, leading to years of financial strain and quiet disappointment. His health began to deteriorate in his 60s. A history of severe cardiovascular issues gradually forced him to retire. Ron Carey passed away on January 16, 2007, at age 71 following a stroke. He was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery. His net worth was estimated at around $1.5 million. Gregory Sierra was born on January 25, 1937, in New York. He was 38 when he became Sergeant Chano Amengual, the fiery, passionate Puerto Rican detective who carried an unmistakable sense of cultural pride throughout his 35 episodes in the first 2 seasons of Barney Miller in 1975. Despite his short run, Chano became the series' strongest Latin presence, blending outrage and humor into one character. But in real life, Gregory Sierra's romantic life spiraled through years of heartbreak. His first marriage collapsed quickly as he struggled to find footing in Hollywood, and his second marriage also ended under the pressure of constant travel, no children, and a complete lack of stability to hold them together. His career was just as uneven. Growing up in the rough streets of Spanish Harlem, Sierra chose Shakespearean theater over local gangs, but Hollywood only offered him scattered supporting roles from Sanford and Son to AES Hudson Street and a string of short-lived series. Even when Miami Vice opened a major opportunity for him, he left the show after just a few episodes because he couldn't adjust to life in Miami. In his final years, stomach cancer that eventually spread to his liver left him exhausted and frail. Gregory Sierra died on January 4, 2021, at age 83, in Laguna Woods, California, after a year-long battle with cancer. His net worth was estimated at around $2 million, a modest sum for a talent Hollywood never fully appreciated. Behind every iconic laugh that defined Barney Miller lies a deeply human story, written in tears, resilience, and quiet sacrifices. Across half a century, the cast navigated silent heartbreaks, devastating illnesses, broken relationships, and the inevitable passage of time. Yet, despite the tragedies and personal struggles that followed them off-screen, their dedication to their craft never faltered. They brought comfort and joy to millions, leaving behind an unforgettable television legacy that continues to resonate today. Their courage in facing life's darkest moments remains a powerful testament to their strength. Which story touched your heart or haunts you the most? We would love to hear your thoughts and memories in the comments below. If you appreciated this deep dive into Hollywood history, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us, so you won't miss the next tragic journey through the hidden stories of classic television.